Okay, this is going to be a 5-minute demonstration of the toolbar in Smart Notebook. You'll notice the buttons in the toolbar are grouped, separated by thin grey lines. The first 3 buttons are to do with pages. I'm going to hit the blank page with a plus sign. As you can see, every time I press it I'm creating a new page. Now I have the navigation buttons, previous page and next page, which is just allowing me to navigate through pages pressing these buttons. You'll also notice that I can navigate direct to a page by clicking on it with the pen. I'm going to delete these pages that I don't need now and just keep 2 pages for the demonstration. Next up we have Open File and Save File. You can save a notebook file anywhere on the network in the same way that you would normally save. You can also open a notebook file from, again, anywhere on the network. Next up we have the paste command. You can copy into Smart Notebook from anywhere, text and pictures. I'm going to paste in a picture which I copied off the internet. I'm going to paste it into page 2. Here's my picture. Go back to page 1. Next up we have undo, redo and delete. Now undo, you will notice, steps back through every action that I've taken, and redo steps forward through every action that I've taken. You'll notice the delete button is greyed out. That's because we haven't told it what to delete. It needs to know what to delete. So if I click on my clock to select it, I can now delete my clock. Obviously I didn't want to do that. I can undo delete, and hey presto, we're still counting down. Next up we have screen shade. Screen shade is just like a roller blind, which you can use on the top or the side or the bottom of your screen. Just press down on the pen and drag and turn it off. Next up, full screen. Full screen obviously makes use of full screen with a presentation that you've completed where you don't want to have toolbars floating around on the side. It does give you navigation buttons to go between page 1 and 2 and return to full screen. The camera I'm not going to talk about now. I'm going to make that subject of a future presentation, which leads us on to our creative tools. Just before I talk about creative tools, I want to talk about the difference between a selection tool and a creative tool such as the pen. If I take the pen and I choose to write something, let's see if I can manage to write with just a mouse here. There we go. Great, I've written something. Now let's say I want to move my clock, and I've forgotten I'm still holding the pen and I'm drawing all over my clock. Let's undo that, it's no good. This is why we need the selection tool. Your pen operates as a selection tool and as a creative tool. When you've selected something, you'll notice that the bottom right hand corner will size your object. The green handle will rotate your object and it will snap to both the horizontal and vertical positions perfectly. And you have a drop down arrow which allows you to access properties to do with your object. You'll also notice that if I do write something with a pen, it will attempt to recognize. So I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to turn that into text. Or if you wish, you can undo and leave it as it was. You'll notice that the drop down arrow next to the pen allows you to change the color and also to break up the line. These are highlighters. Undo. Next up we have the creative pen. Now the creative pen I like because it breaks up the monotony of a page made entirely of thin black lines. Also allows you to see from a distance whether or not you got it right or wrong. Okay, let's undo. Next up we have the eraser in 3 varying sizes. The eraser has to be the least effective way of rubbing out anything on your page ever. Don't use it. Undo. Redo. If you wish to delete something, select it and delete. Next up we have the straight line tool. Straight line is literally hold, drag and release. Hold, drag, keep dragging, and then you can drop the end of the line wherever you want it to be. You will notice it snaps perfectly to the vertical and to the horizontal position to make it easy for you to draw parallel lines or axes of a graph. Extra properties for lines here. Next up we have shapes. Let's choose a shape. I'm going to choose a star, of course. Again, hold and drag your pen on the board. There we go. The selection tool, you'll notice with a shape and a line that I can select properties. Oh, there goes my buzzer. And I can rotate and scale as I would any other object on the page. This includes, here on page 2, I've selected my picture, scaling, dragging, and rotating, and accessing properties from my picture. Next up we have text. Text will insert a box wherever you choose to click. Remember, you can copy and paste text from anywhere into this box to save you having to type it all out all over again. Here we go, and it treats the text box again just like any other element on the page. I can size it, I can rotate, and I can select properties from my text. Okay, finally these last 3 grey buttons are greyed out because they don't have anything to work with. We need to select an object which is applicable, so I'm going to select the star. Now we have line and fill color, transparency, and line properties. So I'm just going to select line and fill color. I'm going to make my outline and my star red, and I'm going to make my fill color blue. Now I'm going to select transparency. As you can see, I've made it transparent. And I'm going to select line properties. You can see I'm making the outline and now thicker. There we go. So remember, whatever you select, the tools will work on. If you don't have anything selected, the tools will not work. Finally, we have Move Toolbar to the bottom button, which again does exactly what it says, Move Toolbar to the top. You'll notice that the sidebar has the same function. So if somebody's moved your sidebar, this is how they did it. And I think we're done.